Okay, so H2O straight from Oregon. Today, what are we doing? Well, it's October 28th, so that means that the sun is in Scorpio and my governing planet is in Taurus. So, earth and water, that's alchemy, which is why I've been working on stone, which are from the earth, okay? And adding the europium, which is itself is a glowing material, so it's alchemy to react with also the sunlight and sun energy. And today what I'm doing is working on a clock that I bought for $5 on Amazon because I wanted a cheap support that was already circular, already pre-cut and everything with a clock mechanism, and that was the cheapest way to get it. So that on the top of that, I can mount my pre-printed and pre-epoxied birth chart. I'll remove the needle, and then with a pair of pliers I will unbolt the bolt that's right here and then finish unbolting it like so, and take the washer off as well, and now I can remove the mechanism. Remember, it's by taking things apart and remember how it comes back together. This is how you learn how things function. This is how Van Halen built all of his sound. It was because he was taking apart pedals and equipment and then putting it back together to see how he could create a new sound. And he was an Aquarius, born in 1955 with Jupiter in Leo. So I'm gonna be working on that, making a hole dead on center and then gluing this on there. And the purpose of this, once I put it back together, is for me to know when I have my hip discomfort, or if I have a flare back of a pain that I have in the back of my neck that comes back, at which time it comes back, and then be able to compare also with a birth chart calculator called an astrolabe. Why am I inflamed? Due to the position of Mars. Am I at a perpendicular? Am I back in Gemini? What's up? You know? Right now I know, for example, Jupiter is in Gemini, Mars being there, that's why my hip are being inflamed, and that's why I also have to be careful of eating more cereals and milk rather than bread or things that would make my intestines gas up, because the intestines are governed by Virgo, which is perpendicular to Gemini. So I'm going to go do that. And then another thing I wanted to do today is also explain to you how you can get some New Zealand clay, which is actually porcelain, and because it's white, you can then get oxides, and that goes back to that alchemic part I was talking about earlier. Oxides of different colors that come in powder, and you can get that if you're in the Portland, Oregon area. You can get that at Georgie's, and if you live in Aloha in Beaverton, you can go to Jan Ceramics, and she has a kiln, an oven, to bake whatever you make, and she'll charge you a fee for whatever the size and weight proportion of the thing is, and that's how you can get started. So if you mix this powder with a spoon and you just powder it over you flatten a piece of clay like a pizza pie, and then you just put a bit of that powder over, roll it up, mix it. You can mix either just one color or several colors together like I did. And once it's well mixed, you should end up with two, I'm not going to pull them out because I don't want to dirty my hands, but I made two spheres of about equal volumes so that I can make bowls or plates. And I'm going to show you how to do that, but I'll try to keep the video short, so it's going to be just part. Thank you for watching, and pass every bit along as you can, okay? We're just trying to share knowledge and skills so that everybody can benefit and be a bit more self-independent with a new skill, even for hobbies. Thank you. So quick update, I changed my mind because as my mother raised me, only idiots are unable to change their mind. And instead of putting my birth chart on the clock, I'm going to use I'm going to use this, but because it makes it difficult to read on this background, I put europium on the back of the wheel blue for the blue houses and green for the green houses. And I'm gonna stick it to the back with using some epoxy. Okay, so now that I got it glued, I'm gonna put a sheet of paper on top and a plastic, and then go put some weight on it so it dries. Flat, I mean. Okay, so while my clock is drying with the epoxy under the rice cooker as a weight to keep it flat, I'm grabbing my stones for the bijouterie, which is a makeup of two words. Bijouterie in French means jewelry in English. And I couldn't make this video in French and English at the same time because that's too many things to think about. What I'm doing right now is applying primer, Kiehl's primer, on the top of the translucent stones that I have prepared in the bijouterie video that I previously made in different languages. And I'm applying this rather thinly because I don't want to make a big crust that's just gonna peel off. And I'm just gonna let it dry as thin as it is, like that, and then come back later and give it a light second coat. And this will be so that I can take the outline that is followed with a pencil on simply applying the paper to the screen. You know, you put whatever outline of whatever country you want. If you want to say Senegal, you type Senegal outline, and Google will give you an image of that, and you can zoom in or out to make it bigger or smaller, however big you want your pendant to be. And you place the paper on the top of the screen, and with a pencil in the back, you follow that trace, right? Later on, you put that against a flat window where the light comes through, and you retrace that mark on the back of the paper. And the carbon that will be on that side will be able to later, when you refollow on that's painted white, when you refollow the contour, it will print the carbon of the back onto the stone. And that will mark it ready to get cut. Meanwhile, I'm leaving my clock for the epoxy to dry about 45 minutes or so. And then we'll move on to the wheel. Okay, so to maximize your time and mine in jewelry making, once we'll have the stones and it will be cut like in this shape, in this case, for example, it is Ethiopia, okay? We can take regular clay and press the jewelry into the clay to leave an imprint, okay? And later, after it dries for a week, we can take those imprint of, here I printed Ethiopia or Somalia, I think it's Ethiopia, and next to it I printed Africa. And once I do that and it comes back from Jan Ceramics and the kiln, then I can press clay inside of this, okay, and pull out little Ethiopia like that, or Somalia, whichever it is, okay? And from those, then I can later put glaze on it and send it back into the kiln so that I can make a set of earrings with a coconut and a couple of diamonds in between, and the country of Ethiopia on the top and the continent of Africa on the bottom, okay? Similarly, I can pull out pieces of Japan's and then make them out of clay. You see there, it hasn't been mixed. That's why the clay stays on my fingers. They have to be sanded and refinished before they're sent into the kiln. But when they come back and then I mount them, I have a beautiful piece of earring, okay? And so that's the part of how to make jewelry earrings, even in the as small as, let me put this down, as small as this for Oregon, which, as you can see, as clay bakes, it really shrinks, right? I mean, it will shrink a first time when it will bake, and then it will shrink a second time with the glaze. So that was for that part. Because we're in Oregon and in Portland, I gotta promote Oregon, Portland manufactured, made in America stuff. And this is the ceramic wheel that I'm using. Look at this bad boy engine, okay? This is a Thomas Scott
potter's wheel, and they are made here in Oregon. And they're the same wheel that I learned with in at PCC, Rock Creek.
So if you want to get your ceramic stuff done and you live in the Aloha Beaverton area or Portland area, you could go to Jan Ceramics, and she has raku firing every Saturdays. I think it's between 10 and well, here's the schedule, okay? And you can just contact her, and she'll help you get whatever project you want on the way. And I do believe she also has an extra wheel if you want to learn. She might give you some pointers. She's a very sweet old lady. And so for the New Zealand clay that is white, so I could add the powder that I showed you, I mixed it just like I would with what you call it, if you make a pizza, you know, with the dough. That's the word I was looking for, dough. And I turn it, and I'm really putting my energy behind it, and all that powder is mixing homogeneously with the clay. Now I won't be able to make a video about throwing the plate or the bowl I'm going to make, or cup, because that takes time, like 15-20 minutes, and I don't want you to just be stuck looking at your screen forever. But I am going to show you the basic steps, you know. And so once you have that, then you tap it into a bowl, a sphere. Don't be afraid to be, you know, strong with it, but keep your hand into a cup. And once you have it like that, I'm trying to take the length of the video into account. Then you take your clean paper, I mean not paper, wood thing, and you slap it on dead on center as much as you can, okay? And then that's when I will activate the wheel and do the rest, but I don't want to have two dirty fingers to operate the video. So I'm going to show you one last thing, and that will be it for the day. I hope that this was instructive and mostly efficient. Just to finish, I just wanted to show you my clock. Now that it is glued with the European in the background, I reassembled it and put it with the in front of the sun so that it could charge some sunlight, and this is what I get. So voila, ta-da! And that's that for today, at least that I'm showing you right now. Oh, and again, you know, pass it along. To you, it's just one share click of a second, but to somebody else, it might change their entire lifetime to get ideas that will, you know. So thank you. So here's my plate, and I'm gonna go do the second one, because I'm going to France for Christmas, and I don't want to go over there for Christmas empty-handed. So, well, Merry Christmas ahead for everybody. For those who celebrate, Happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate Hanukkah, and Happy Saturnalia Festival to all the pagans, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Pass it along, it might help somebody. Thank you very much for your time, and vaya con Dios.